Boy, I'm glad Carson's gone. Oh, we're live. Hey, what's up, guys? No. But, guys, we're back. Episode number 85. Hyperspace Hive. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Evan.
85. Holy crap. This is the year we get to 100. I'm super excited about that. I'd always be excited. Every episode, it's like another benchmark in our journey through hyperspace. We're just eternally in hyperspace. We never get out because the hype is that big.
Please free us. We've been in here for years. Food's getting low. Sun's getting real low.
Sun's getting real low, kids. But yeah, this is great. So we had our hyperspace hype episode on Monday, really going over our Star Wars history past with Carson. Farewell episode, though he will return for future episodes when the moment arises.
Carson will return in Endgame.
Exactly. I forget what I was watching. I'm like, I watched some anime movie and I'm like, are they going to do a so-and-so will return here? I hope so. I want more movies. Anyways.
We'll return in final season part 4.
Attack on Titan thing is crazy. Final season part 3, part 1 starts as like, oh, geez. Anyways, not Attack on Titan podcast. This is a Star Wars podcast. The Bad Batch, Nathan. Incredible stuff. Now, before we begin, we're going to talk about Bad Batch. There's some Vision stuff as well later on. But for Bad Batch, looking back at season 2, I went on Disney Plus today. And, because every episode, people are like, oh, I hate this. I love this. I hate this. I love this. And this season, I think in particular, there's been some episodes that people were like, oh, man, this season's really dragging. But I went back on Disney Plus, and there was universal acclaim for this episode. But last week's episode, I thought was great. The Tribe. The only miss I think of the season was the Uncharted episode. Even then, that was fun with the great score. I think this season has been just really phenomenal. I've just really been loving this season, and we're halfway through, basically with episode 8 concluding today or yesterday.
I think I was. I think last week I was because I missed a week, so then the treasure hunting episode doubled up with the Gunji. And I think that worked in my favor because if I just got on the week and it was just the treasure hunting, I would have been like, oh well, good score. But having them hand in hand, I was like, that was a fun hour. That was a fun Bad Batch Power Hour.
Power Hour. Timmy Turner, Jimmy Power Hour. Let's go.
Now that's a commentary.
That is a commentary. Yeah, they did 3 of those things. Oh,
is that on Paramount Plus? Can we find it?
Is it? Yeah. Where can we find that? Are those in the Nickelodeon vaults now?
They got to be on there.
Somebody find that. Somebody in the comments. Leave a like. Subscribe.
Link us to the Jimmy Power Hour Part 1 of 7. Violation.
They did so many of those, and every year I was just super excited. I'm like, oh my god, 2 worlds colliding.
We're in a 3D world. This looks weird.
And Timmy was like a dick in those. Timmy came off as the bad guy, I think. In every
No, what I don't get is people, even Jimmy's own mother, confusing Timmy for her son. I was like, they don't look alike at all.
That was awful.
The head is smaller. The buff, you can't see it.
Timmy and Jimmy with terrible parents.
Oh no! Well, I think Timmy's parents are way worse.
Jimmy's parents are horrible. But Jimmy's parents are very Malcolm in the Middle-esque parents, I guess you could say.
Probably believe it.
But anyways, on this time on the Timmy Power Hour podcast, that has to have been done already. But anyways, I've been loving the season. The first 2 episodes are great. Episode 3, of course, with the crosshair was spectacular. The racing one was probably one of the most funny episodes of the Bad Batch. Probably the funniest episode. I just had a really fun time with that one.
It's a good one.
And then we had Entombed. But then, we had Tribe last week, which is Gunji. And then this week, political thriller, like the always Winter Soldier, the 1970s political thriller.
Is it not though? Come on, let me defend the MCU. Get back in my boots. Carson's gone. He can't stop me.
Yeah, Carson would be like, "Oh, I agree. I need somebody backing me up in my MCU anti-agenda." Just kidding.
The final episode of Hyperspace Hive.
I know. Tune in next week for our Ant-Man 3 review.
Yes, I have my ticket.
I'm excited. I still haven't bought tickets yet. I'll be fine.
It's not filling. I'm sad because this happens, and I think it's my theater. But like, I was having Last Stand Man coming off the heels of Infinity War. It was like, no, come on.
We did box office predictions. I said like it might not crack 100. I think at best it gets 105. I think we'll see how it goes.
If I stick with my joking 215 million, that's worldwide. That's not domestic.
Oh damn.
No, I think it'll make at least. I'm sure it'll make more. I just mean like I always play it safe that way.
Yeah, good stuff. Ocean worldwide. Anyways, yeah, Bad Batch. I loved it. I love very tense political thriller. Great stuff from these 2 episodes. It kind of reminded me, and everybody else, of course, of the what was it called? The Hera episode. What planet was Ryloth? The Ryloth episodes last season, where the first episode is about Hera's family and their plight against Ryloth and the Empire, the Republic, trying to go against them. And then the second episode was how the Bad Batch got involved and how they settled the situation and how it impacted them personally. In this week, we got a lot of stuff with the clones, the conspiracy, hence the title, the secrets. And then episode 2 is about how it affects the Batch and Omega personally, and even Echo, which was super surprising.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
I got super emotional. Like, the score, again, Kevin Kiner this season, he's cooking. Again, it was great. Like, I rewatched that final scene. Of course, spoilers for Bad Batch, you know it. But the last scene with Omega and Echo, I'm like, yo, like
I did not see.
It's like blaring. The score is blaring. It's getting super emotional. It's like, oh shoot! And then
got the clone theme pumping in.
Exactly.
Not even the Batch theme. It's the clone from season 7, Clone Wars.
Oh, that's what it's from. I knew it sounded from. Wait, so that's the same theme.
Yeah, it was definitely like used heavily, especially in the Siege arc.
Okay. I knew it sounded familiar. I was like, dang, this thing hits. Okay, good job, Kevin. But yeah, where should we begin? Let's start off with episode 7, Clone Conspiracy.
No, we'll jump to 8.
We'll start back. Start with
like Palpatine.
The Palpatine's here.
I've never been so fucking pissed, man.
Oh, dude, we'll get there. But yeah, that really it hyped me up, but then it like pissed me off at the same time.
It gave me chills in the word. I was like, it gave me chills, and I'm like, how dare you?
Exactly.
Get out of me.
Gotta love how Ian McDermott came in for like 5 seconds and just said,
he keeps doing it.
Peace out, boys.
He gave him like 60 seconds of makeup for Obi-Wan.
He was in Obi-Wan? Oh, yeah,
he was a hologram.
He was a hologram. Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, he was like, Vader, you're still talking about Obi-Wan. Get out of your head. Stop. I think
Palpatine is my number 1 most hated character in everything ever. He has ruined every one of my favorite Star Wars characters' lives in one way or another.
He's up there. Yeah, with the character, like he was my favorite character in Star Wars before Ben Solo came along too.
You son of a bitch.
I love how.
And look what he did to him.
I think specifically after I read the Darth Plagueis novel, just rewatching the trilogy in different eyes kind of things. It was just, Palpatine's just a peak character. But I also hate him. You're right. Like I can't think of a lot of other characters that I despise more so.
Who's my favorite character in Harry Potter? Voldemort.
Voldemort lacks a lot of I shouldn't say lacks a lot of like humanity because you get the Tom Riddle stuff. You arguably get more humanity from Voldemort than you do from Palpatine, at least in canon.
Yeah, he's got a better laugh.
Palpatine?
No, Voldemort.
Yes, he was doing it.
A little chuckle. So weird. So good. All right, but where were we?
Yeah, episode 7, Clone Conspiracy. We are off the rails, Scott Carson.
Please, you didn't help in general. You just lets it go.
Thank you. So yeah, we meet in the bar on Coruscant. So we're back in Coruscant, which is already a great location setter.
Dexter.
And yeah, exactly. And we come across 2 clones, later revealed to be Cade and Slip. Cade is having some second thoughts, Nathan. He's like, shooting down the city's on Camino, probably not a great thing. And yeah, he's having second
Are
thoughts.
we the bad
here.
guys?
Are we the bad guys? Exactly. What's that quote from?
I don't know. I think it might have been like a skit online, but it was like it was Nazis in like old Germany, and they're like,
"Oh yeah. You're right. You're so right. You're so right." But Cade is struggling, right? Mm-hmm. And this is so interesting to me because I'm like, oh, we're flashing back to, you know, we rewatched it on the podcast. We loved the season finale of Clone Wars or Bad Batch, and it was great to be referenced to that again. Because season 2 is all about like the repercussions of that finale, and so now we're having these two clones who we never met before struggling with that decision. And yeah, it kind of takes us back to how when Rampart's blowing up the cities, he's giving the order, but it's the clones the ones firing on their own cities, which is something I never really took too much of a heart in. But yeah, Cade is struggling here, not happy with what he did. And he says to Slip, yeah, we need to do something about it. And I might have already done something about it. Like I might have already like said something or the other.
This clone is commendable.
Super
commendable. Dumbest fucking movie.
It is.
I warned him.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. He was like, I warned him. I'm like, so you're dead.
I told him to do the right thing or I will. And it's like, motherfucker, that is the biggest target you have painted.
It's like, I watch a lot of crime shows. It's like the victim, the killer, like, I'll call 911. Just wait, I'll tell the police. Then you're dead, okay? Like you're not walking out. You're not walking out of this alive. Why would you tell them that? Why?
Appeal to my insanity. Don't
appeal. Yeah, exactly. Lie to them. Be like, you know what? Okay, cool. Bye. And then
yeah, I'm into this. It's cool.
Yeah, like, okay, please kidnap me. It's like, no, it's crazy to me. Like every time I hate it. It's my big pet peeve on crime shows. Just like, I'll call 9. Like, okay, then you're just dead. You're just sealing your fate. And I think at this point, Cade kind of sealed his fate, and Slip even was kind of wary of that. Like, oh shoot, what did you do?
I think sorry, this is my brain. I think the only good example of like, I'll call the police is in the opening of the first Scream film. Because it says it more dramatically when Ghostface says they won't make it in time. It sets even more scary.
That's fantastic. Yeah, Wes Craven peak, love it. We gotta do our Scream stuff on here eventually.
I'd love to. I'm itching to watch them right now, and I'm just like, oh, do I save it?
But yeah, and then Oh, by the way, the Clone Bar 79 apparently was in Clone Wars season 6, the 5's arc. I kind of forgot about that. But Star Wars Explained said so. It's like, oh wow, interesting.
This felt very 5's arc.
Yeah, very much so. 5's, of course, iconic arc from the Clone Wars. Cade had an awful feeling about what he did. Also, I mentioned to hear my notes. It also goes to note how Cade even having second thoughts, them even having this discussion, is just even more so about how the inhibitor chip is like fading away.
I was always thinking about that. It's just like, does it wear off? Is it running out of juice?
I think it's running out of juice. It's like kind of like I don't know. I can't describe it, but like just something you stick in somebody and just slowly drains. A fluid slowly drain as this time goes on.
Imagine Palpatine waited just one more year.
Yeah,
it's like XQ-R66. I don't know about this.
Yeah, I don't think we should do this, Bob. But he's like, I just him having second thoughts is so fascinating because we saw Cody with the Crosshair arc having second thoughts as well. Like, we're not droids; we're the ones who have the ability to make these choices, life or death choices. And Cody kind of walked away because he had the ability to make a choice to even walk away. And Cade's kind of having the similar thoughts, like, I'm not a droid. Why did I just follow orders? I'm having second thoughts now after the fact. So it's just very fascinating. Of course, he gets outside. We meet an assassin, and he gets shot. And then Slip kind of slips away. I was so waiting to use that. I was so happy.
I commend you, sir.
Thank you very much. I was biting my tongue. My tongue is bleeding. So slips away. Bingo. In spectacular fashion. I loved the whole like using the moving cart move. It happens in movies and TV shows all the time.
I don't know why. I
was
didn't
great.
have a lay of the land, so I thought he was gonna send the speeder the other way and then slip out the bars himself, like as a distraction. And but I didn't know he was at like a high level, so I was just like, oh, he's gonna slip away. Ah!
Anakin Clone Wars style. But it was weird. He kind of like slips away into the crowd of the highway. I figured like, would he just get shot in the back? I'd be too nervous to get shot in the back because I would have no idea. I would have some kind of direction where the sniper is. But I would be all like, there's so many angles in Coruscant, I just wouldn't know where to slip away and go. But anyways, did you think this was Crosshair at first?
A little bit, yeah.
I totally thought this was Crosshair. I was like, oh, it's definitely Crosshair.
When I met up with him again, maybe, I don't know if that was a hologram call, but I was seeing he was sniping, and he was just wearing very like special all black gear, and I was like, it's not Crosshair's armor unless he traded it in. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, did he trade it in? But then you're right. There's that one hologram scene halfway through the episode with Rampart, and I'm like, wait, this doesn't sound like Crosshair, but maybe it's a voice modulator.
I figured maybe. What's even more tripped me up is when you do finally look under the mask. I was looking at him. I was like, oh, it's Cody. Which doesn't make sense. I just saw the flat top and.
That'd be funny as hell if it was Cody. Like, oh shit!
Like, what did they do to him?
What did they do to my boy?
They gave him another chip.
Oh god, that'd be so.
I actually thought, like, did they give him more chip? Fuck.
They turn him over. There's like 2 chips right there. It's like, no,
he's too powerful.
But yeah, and then he slips away. We cut to a great senator. Excuse me, a great senator debate scene, and I loved this. Like, this is. Again, we mentioned it this whole season so far, but a lot of great callbacks to Andor. And in Andor, Mon Mothma was like really struggling with trying to come up with any kind of allies in the Senate. She would say stuff on deaf ears, basically. But we got some good progress here in this one. It was a lot of back and forth, and I really loved like the debates that they were having. So Rampart comes in, really trying to push the defense recruitment bill that was introduced in episode 3 about how like clones need to go away, and we need to have a standing military. And we meet a couple people here. Bail Organa, of course, comes in to say, like, no, we shouldn't do this, of course, argues against it, alongside Chancellor Pomlo. Pomlo being from Rogue One, apparently.
Oh.
She's apparently a black lady in the robes. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, right. I remember. Okay.
Yeah. She's the one who says, let the girl speak. No, I'm kidding.
That's not at all.
But apparently she's in Rogue One. I did not know that. I was like, oh, cool. Awesome.
She's safe.
She's alive. Yeah, she's not going to get shot. She's not going to get silenced. But yeah, they're arguing. And this is some great stuff here. So Rampart, and he's backed up. Rampart is backed up by 2 people. I don't remember their names, but they stand for the Banking Clan and the Commerce Guild.
They suck, man.
They suck. They're awful. They're like
they're so bad.
Bullies just basically riding on Rampart's what just so they can get their way. And this was such a fascinating discussion, right, Nathan? So they're pushing for a standard military. We need a standing military, and their argument is, well, before this, Pomelo says, like, we don't need a standing military. We need to concern ourselves with the internal affairs of our, basically, republic as we progress after, the chaos of the Clone Wars. But they're like, we need a military, though. The other guys are saying we need a military because there's a lot of insurgents, and we need to protect ourselves from these insurgents. And this is so fascinating because 2 things. The insurgents, as we saw again in episode 3 with the Crosshair arc, these insurgents are probably the people like what happened on that one planet, where they're just like, hey, you're impeding on our neutrality. Are we really call it insurgents because you're trying to impose your will on us? Like, these are the insurgents that they're talking about here. Like, people that are trying to go against the Empire for whatever reason are now called insurgents.
Which we know to soon later become the rebellion.
Exactly. Later become the rebellion, later become just people who want to be neutral and against against these guys.
Did the rebels seal the fate of the creation of stormtroopers?
The Bad Batch did. Yeah. That's a tragedy of this show, like how inevitable a lot of these developments are.
It sucks because like we always are in this place and like we know where the story ends up,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't want it to get there.
We don't want it to get there. And the journey to get there is dark and tragic. But that's Star Wars for you, right, Lucas? No.
I'm tired, Bob.
Me too. Clone Wars Rebellion. We'll talk about that at the end.
Gonna go hide in the High Republic, I guess.
Yeah, High Republic's so happy, right? Don't read Path of Deceit. Don't read a lot of the other. There's a lot of darkness in every single High Republic book. I'm like, this.
Is there a shiny space station in the sky still? Maybe. No?
Maybe so. I don't want to spoil. Maybe, yeah. No, it's not.
I'm aware.
So, if you see the cover for Fallen Star, you'll see. Anyways, so yeah, what I was saying was like these insurgents are like people. And I talked about this last week. The Empire always needs enemies, right? We need these enemies to go against us. This is why, because like, look, guys, we need military because there's people rising against us. We've got to protect our way of life ourselves because from these insurgents. How dare they?
We have to protect you from you.
Exactly. But two, Nathan brings up the High Republic. In the High Republic, and even prior in episode 1, the Phantom Menace, was there a standing military? No. Like for hundreds.
That's why we brought the clones in. We didn't have one.
We didn't have one for hundreds and hundreds of years. The Republic thrived, and I repeat, thrived. You know, of course, there was hiccups with the Sith and stuff like that in the Old Republic, but thousands, hundreds of years, there was no standing army. The Republic had even in the High Republic, there was a Republic Defense Coalition force. If people were having trouble, you send in Republic troops. Right? From the core worlds, but there wasn't a specific military. There wasn't an army. It was just Republic Defense Forces led by, not even led by Jedi. They'll just be accompanied by Jedi if the Jedi were wanting to go there.
Keepers of the peace.
They were keepers of the peace. Exactly. They weren't soldiers. They were generals, right? They would go there. They wouldn't say like, hey, follow my lead. They'd just be like, hey, we're liaisons. This is what's going to happen. But now, all of a sudden, the military seems like a thing that they have to have now. Like, if I'm in the Senate, I'm like, are we crazy? We lasted.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, like we lasted thousands. Let me go through this history, but we lasted thousands of years without a military, and now you're saying we need one because of some insurgents that you're not really explaining what they're insurging about. Like, come on. So it's a very fascinating discussion that I was just like thinking about.
It's like the real world.
It really is, right? Like the U.S.
Scary.
The U.S. is like the biggest spender of military in the entire world. Like
we need it. Why? We need it.
For what? Exactly right. 70% of our budget defense-wise.
If we don't, they will. You don't know that?
You don't know that? Yeah, it's complicated, but yeah, that's the U.S. is not. And of course, you know, George Lucas has always been about like, you know, Star Wars thriving and being about thematically what happened in the 1970s with what the government was doing, corrupt actions there. So it's all full circle, baby. But yeah.
And lo and behold, the main senator we follow in this arc is plays the daughter of George Lucas's character cameo in the movies.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. So speaking of that, we meet here within this argument because while Bale, Pamlo, and the other guys are having this argument, it's brought up like, wait a second, we're talking about clones, but clones don't have any representation. So what's going on here? And the person that speaks up is Senator Chuchi from the Clone Wars arcs, a lot of the Clone Wars arcs. So she was in the Cad Bane episode where she got kidnapped by the senators along with Padme. She
had a couple of Snow episodes with her.
Snow episodes as well, where she was like back and forth with the Separatists. They had one of their people held hostage, I believe.
She was just a kid back then.
She was kidnapped. Yeah, she was a hostage. Okay.
No, I meant like she was a child.
Oh, she was a child. Was she? Was she a child then?
Pretty young, yeah.
Or she was young. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she's young here too. That makes sense. And then she was also in the banking. Speaking of the banking clan in this episode, she was in the banking clan episodes of season 6. When they went to that homeworld. But yeah, so it was really cool seeing Chuchi here, and yeah, she kind of takes center stage out as she like desires to speak for the clones, because if she doesn't, who will? As she says. They had no representation, and they're talking about decommissioning them like they're droids, she says, which again kind of brings back again to what Cody was saying, like, we're not droids, we need to have some rights, we have choices to make for ourselves. So Rampart basically like concedes, he loses this. He's like, you know what? We'll talk later about this.
Yeah.
We'll table this for now. I'll concede to you. And he's always trying to be like that calming voice, and
It's
not
so wild that she like says like, yeah, we can't. They're not just something to be decommissioned like droids, and the one fucking bitch
sure
was just like, oh, I didn't realize you spoke for him. Motherfucker, they're living people.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's like, I didn't know you spoke for them. Like, okay, and we have thousands of pods here, and who's speaking for them? Nobody. So I will. So shut the f up. Yeah, it was crazy. It was aggravating. Rightfully so. It was like watching an episode of C-SPAN. Jesus. Anyways, we also get another great conversation here as we head back to the clone bar in 79. As beforehand, Chuchi said, like, let me speak to the clones about like their future, maybe see what concessions they want moving forward. And we get to Clone Bar 79, and they're upset at Chuchi. They were created, as they say, they were created to fight, and they can't anymore? Question mark. Like, our primary purpose is to fight and to serve our republic. And this is such a fascinating dilemma here. Because this goes into one of my favorite anime of 2021, 86. Little flashback, 86, I love it. It's about these child soldiers who are part of this thing called the Republic, who are deemed dead by the people living inside the Republic. In the Republic, they use like these quote-unquote unmanned fighting drones, but little do they know that the unmanned drones are actually fought inside by child soldiers. And they're basically sent to die against these things called the Legion, right? The enemy. And in 86, once they do that, like, they can't even think of a way of life after it. All they know is war. All they know is being discarded by the Republic, thought of as dead, basically second fodder. And all they have to live on is their pride. And I was kind of brought back here with the clones here, who they were discarded by their Republic. They have no rights of their own. And all they have in their memories, in their livelihoods, is conflict, is a war. They were bred for, basically, for war, as it was said in that Attack of the Clones by Lama Su. So it's understandable how these clones are like, well, we don't want to stop fighting because we were bred for a specific purpose to fight. And without that, we'll have nothing left. Our pride basically will go away. Our purpose will go away. And Chuchi's like, well, however tragic that is, you have to start thinking about your future, because there can be a future for you guys if you guys want to. It is, once again, the word choice. It is your choice to have a future here. I'm giving you guys a choice. That's why we're having this discussion, and she lays it out clearly. Like, unfortunately, whether you want to believe it or not, you're going to degrade sooner or later. Some of you already are. So you're not going to be ready to fight. You're just going to go off into a losing battle by not being at your full health because you're just degrading. So now is time, now more than ever, to decide what's next for you guys. And it was just such an interesting dilemma because I'm like, man, I feel for these clones. Like, they're going to be losing their pride. They're going to be losing their way of life. But also, they can continue having that way of life by not going to war, not being in these senseless conflicts, again, as Cody was in. Like, these are senseless conflicts. We're going to be fighting because they said, like, we want to fight insurgents. We want to fight these people. It's like, but no, these insurgents are actually, some of them are actually good people. And they're just fighting for their way of life too, just like you guys are. So there's no winners here. And Chuchi really gets them on their side here, and they eventually agree. But then Slip reveals to her that, hey, Whisper, you should check out that Rampart guy. He's not telling you the truth about what happened on Camino. Is this when he tells her exactly what happened in this scene?
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah.
And she was like, how do you make such wild accusations? Because I was there.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, you was like, I was there. I lived it. I pressed the button.
I lived the Star
Wars. And then, so yeah, he said, just be wary of Rampart. And she's kind of like, whoa, this is crazy. This is mind-blowing. Bless me. Excuse me. Bless me. But then she goes, talks with Rampart. It's very awkward. Because the guy's like, be careful, Rampart. She's like, you know what? Let me go check in with Rampart. And
let me get in his face.
Long story short, yeah, it's like she gets in his face. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, this happens on Big Brother, like reality shows all the time where You get told somebody is lying to you. So your instinct then is to go up to that person and be like, why are you lying to me? Which is not what you should be doing, right? Like,
you gotta uncover.
You gotta cover yourself. You lose the advantage. Somebody's like, hey, Evan, Nathan is lying to you. Nathan wants to vote you out. My instinct would be to like, hey, Nathan, why are you doing this? But that's not what you should be doing. You should be going to Nathan being like, hey, Nathan, we're cool, right? I would never go against you. I totally trust. That's what you got. You got to play into their security, not insecurity, their security. That way you can like placate them. But a lot of people make the same mistake as Chuchi does here by not placating them. You got to placate Rampart. You got to play the game.
Obi-Wan sees the recordings that Anakin killed younglings. He goes up to Anakin and is like, hey, did you kill some of my younglings?
Yeah, put her down, Anakin. Yeah, not great. Hand on the hips too.
I mean that did happen. Prior to even going.
Prior to that. Oh, okay, that too. Yeah, he's like, oh, what happened here?
Anakin's just like, you're alive? What?
Yeah. Let's see here. So that was very funny because Jalen and I both were like, what is she doing? Like, what is she doing? Rampart's like, okay, this girl's got to go now. Yeah, like.
I mean, so granted, like when she did go up to him, she wasn't just immediately just like, did you do this? She was like, hey, how'd you survive that storm there? Like she's just kind of like testing the waters, even though any form of it though is gonna like put some heat on you though.
Yeah, some alarm bells go off in his mind. He's like, why is she asking me about this? Do you know more than you know? Which
is funny because like when she does walk out, like, yeah, obviously the quick thought is Rampart's like, well, now he has to kill her. But I felt like, well, that seems kind of extreme for a high level senator to just be taken out all of a sudden.
Yeah,
you know, that's kind of been the play for Padme for the whole trilogy.
Good point. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, like if Padme gets taken out, it's a pretty bad lick on Padme.
But you know, I would chalk it up to just like you know, Newt Gunray's a fool. Surely this man wouldn't do that right away, and he does.
Yeah, he does. But yeah, which is very funny. Yeah, because speaking about that, Rampart's lies were hilariously bad. It's like, oh, I was away on a training mission. Oh yeah. But the funny part is,
sorry.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, like in that moment, he's like, "Oh, if I had been down there, maybe you could have gone differently." Which in my brain, man, you really should have said, "If I was down there, I probably would have faced the same fate."
Yes,
sympathy for you,
right? Yeah. But he does the opposite. He says, like, "Oh, if I was there, things would have been different." Nathan might have froze right now. I'll keep on talking though. But yeah, it was just hilariously bad. He's like, oh yeah, if I was there, things would have been different. Like, that's not what you should kind of be saying right now. What I really wanted him to say was like what Nathan said, like about him like being down there. But anyways, Rampart then has his talk with the assassin, and as we mentioned, he's like, yeah, she has to go now. It's like we kind of silence this other clone, continue trying to silence him, and try and silence Chuchi now as well. Which could go bad. Oh, Nathan's back. We're back here.
Okay. Sorry, what did you say in response?
No, I was just saying now, like, yeah, Rampart's lies are BS, and that how as he talks to Assassin, he's like, okay, she has to go. Both of them have to go. But also, dude, the Assassin score was that great? Like, holy shit! I was like, bum, bum, dun, dun. I was like, oh shit! Woo. It was heat. It was fire.
Kiner don't miss.
Kiner don't miss.
In the heat of espionage, you don't.
In the heat of espionage, he does not miss. So yeah, it was great here. But yeah, overall though, Chuchi, I mentioned it here in my notes. I forgot to say it then though. Was that her talk with Rampart did make sense in the sense that like she can't take Slip's word for like granted. Like who she just met like that day, so it made sense that she's grilling him. But at the same time, she could have done a better job at it. But anyways, Chuchi goes to talk to Bail Organa about there being more about Camino. So she reveals to him about like, hey, yeah, so Camino. Because I also didn't mention it, but they revealed within this episode that Rampart's lie was that there was a cataclysmic storm, which is weird because even
storms all the time.
As Bail says in this conversation, yeah, like. This city was built, Tepoka City was built to withstand tons of storms over thousands of years. And coincidentally, a storm happens that wipes away all the clones while the defense recruitment bill is on the rise. That's sus, Bob. So yeah, Bail was sus. Chuchi's becoming more sus. And I love a line here where she says, "Since when did speaking up for what's right become causing a stir?" When Bail said, "You caused quite a stir in the Senate building today." It's like, did I? I was just talking as I should, right? Like, as supporting rights for the clones.
A Mon Mothma in the making.
Exactly. I thought Mon Mothma was going to appear numerous times in this episode.
I was waiting, man.
Because later on in episode 8, she's like, "You should speak to a senator friend of mine." I'm like, "Oh, Mon Mothma?" No, it was a Kaminoan.
I didn't even hear the part where he said senator, so I was like, Ahsoka.
Oh my god!
I just came out with Tales of the Jedi,
A friend that I can trust. I was like, "No, god damn it, Ahsoka again, fuck." No,
would it be so bad in animation?
Maybe not. We'll see.
We love Ahsoka.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's
in all forms
in this finale, in this show's finale, in a sense. Like, it would make sense for the last time we see Rex specifically to be like, "Oh, this is how he." I mean, no, granted, we see him Rex and Ahsoka in Clone Wars season 7.
When does the Inquisitors start? I guess is the question.
Yeah, good point. I don't know. I'm going around in circles.
When did Ahsoka come back in the fold?
What is she cooking? What if one of the other episodes, fast forward to the end a little bit though, but what if Echo and Rex, as Echo's new mission with Echo or with Rex, what if he meets Ahsoka as that'd be really cool.
That'd be interesting. I'm still waiting for Cody.
I'm still waiting for Cody too. I think he's gonna come in sooner or later.
I thought he was gonna pop up here. I thought every clone was coming together.
Me too. Not exactly, Bob. But anyways, Chuchi review talks to Bail. They have an uncomfortable realization that something deeper is going on here. Rampart, something sus happening with Rampart, and she reveals that she needs to talk to Slip, the clone that escaped her, but she's having trouble finding him. Meanwhile, Slip is in the alleyways saying "I gotta get out of here." He's talking to somebody "I gotta get out of here." We don't know who he's talking to, but immediately I'm like, "Oh, he's talking to Rex." Did you have that same feeling?
I did. It was funny because also you hear it's a clone voice, but unfortunately for this show, that could be anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be the whole batch. That could be Rex or Cody. And I will say, later on when Rex is in the mist and he's in his hood and you don't see his face yet, I'm like, well, that's Rex. Even before he unveils his buzzed haircut, I was like, it's Rex.
Exactly. Yeah, we all
We're lingering.
We all knew it at that point. But yeah, so Slip contacts him. I knew it was Rex. Chuchi then finds Slip a couple scenes later, and he reveals all the info is on Rampart's ship. As soon as he said that, I'm like, "Oh, so you're definitely dead."
He dies in the next second.
He died in the next second. He's like, "Okay, all the information, you gotta listen to me. It's on Rampart's ship on on the audio log there, video log."
Kind of call out Slip for frankly slipping up. He's looking around, making sure no one's around, and then he steps out in the open.
Out into the open. I'm like, first of all, why are you even outside? If I'm talking to Rex, I'm like, "Hey, meet me in apartment B level 2." Is I'm not leaving outside or inside at all. I'm staying home. Quarantine.
Also, look up, maybe.
Yeah, he's looking left and right. No, it's a Coruscant. Look up, 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 up. Where your friend got sniped at.
Literally.
So yeah, he gets sniped, dead. Chuchi is like, "Oh fuck!" And this is when we get an awesome escape sequence with these guards who were actually very good. The first one goes down pretty early on, but the second one was holding his own. It was really cool to see.
That's a good bodyguard.
Yeah, right. It was actually kind of cool to see a bodyguard actually do his job for once, do their job for once.
That's what I hired. This is good.
Yeah. Fill his role. Good job.
I've been waiting for this day.
Yeah. Internally, that's what he was thinking.
Gonna die in battle, go to Valhalla.
We should get what's it called? Certain point of view, Bad Batch style.
all bodyguards are just Norse beings.
Hell yes. Valhalla. As I finished God of War Ragnarok yesterday night.
There you go.
Great game. Masterpiece, by the way.
What a twist.
It was great. Yeah, there were some twists in there in God of War. There's some good stuff there. Anyways, so Chuchi runs. I love the sequence. She gets into this building. As she's struggling to get inside, the bodyguard's trying to pry the door open, get shot. but still like is trying to pry the door open. I was like, okay, let's go.
Let's go armor.
Basically. So bodyguard's on point this entire time, but then they get inside. He says, I'm gonna go distract him. You go run for it. I'm like, oh, so he's dead too. So eventually he dies off screen. Just hear, no.
Down with the sickness.
Yes. Rex appears. Different song, but yeah. So then Rex appears out of the smoke, very much Jurassic Park 3 style. And he doesn't kill the assassin. He stuns him, takes off the mask, and Nathan, it's not Crosshair.
No,
it's a regular clone.
It is a regular clone, a believer, some might say.
Yeah, this is shocking to me. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, he says he's a believer they take him to Trace and Rafa's garage.
Yes.
From the Clone Wars Season 7. These are friends of Rex who aren't there now. Sad to see. I really wanted them to be in episode 8 or something, but it's okay.
They could be great co-stars of this show.
That'd be awesome. I would love it. Maybe Echo and Rex meet up with them on a future mission outside of the Bad Batch's storyline.
I'd like to see it.
That'd be really fun.
Were they in They were in season 1, right?
I think they were.
There was a whole battle over the old droid commander's CPU in that.
You're right. Okay, so I wasn't going crazy.
Yeah.
Because I told Jalen, I'm like, were they? You're like, no, we lost them in season 7. But I remember seeing them earlier or more recently.
I remember they came back, and I was like, where were they? Was it after this or before? But no, it was before. So now, where are they? I miss them.
They're great characters. We'll always be on this podcast being the day one defenders of Trace and Rafa storyline, which was very fun to watch week to week.
I hope they got that chip.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, the other clone kills himself, and he had no ID number, which is very fascinating.
Yeah, it was removed, which they didn't think was possible.
Exactly. I watched this video from Star Wars Explained today, and he said there's a theory, or his theory was that he's a Phase 0 clone who might be one of the earlier test subjects for the Dark Troopers. People we see in Mando, it's these older clones who have been reconfigured by the Empire, their memories scrubbed, they're believers now who eventually become the first test subjects for the Dark Troopers, as we saw in Mando.
They're 6'4".
Exactly, they're super tall. No. But yeah, so it's very fascinating, because we never really know what's his deal. I mean, of course, he killed himself before we can figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting stuff.
Wild.
But now we know.
Also, I didn't know Star Wars had cyanide electronic death.
I think we saw this before.
Maybe.
I saw it, but I was like, "Oh shit!" It shocked me, but I think we saw it before.
Did Andor have something like that?
Was it in the 5's arc?
I don't know.
I think it was.
Maybe
it was in the 5's arc where somebody was like, "You can't speak too much about this."
Am I also misremembering, or was there something like this in Andor?
Mandalorian, that's what it was. I just thought of it right now. I think in the Bryce Dallas Howard episode of season 2, did the captain commit suicide by doing this? Or one of the people?
Or maybe the one after, because
the one after.
Oh, it was that one. I always remember the Frog Lady episode, but that was Peyton Reed, and then it opened with Frog Lady. Yeah,
this was the sequence with Bo-Katan. They were on the ship, they hijacked it, and the guy was like,
"Yes,
I can't go down for this."
Okay, that's where. Okay,
man, I dug deep.
You of all people.
I know. I love that episode. I do. It's a really good episode.
They had us in the first half.
It has in the first half, first 4 episodes. Even though the Peyton Reed episode was kind of hit and miss for me.
I mean, I was in on all of it until every episode ends, and I'm sitting with you guys, and you guys just picking me yeah, but Nathan. You're right.
I would never let go. The Ahsoka episode is just not good for me. And the fact that
episode.
Happy birthday. And the fact that we're getting more backstory with Grogu, I care. I don't care.
You don't care about the one of 2 people we care about the most in this show?
Who is the Jedi in the Order 66 flashback? Who are they? Like,
I don't think
care.
it's who it is. I think it's just the journey. The journey of this poor boy.
Poor baby Grogu.
Our son.
But we'll talk about Mando in a second, or after episode 8.
It's coming up in the next month.
It is, dude. It's crazy. We're less than a month away, guys. If you're here watching, we'll be doing weekly recaps of The Mandalorian. If not weekly, we'll do it bi-weekly. But yeah, I'm excited and be doing it. We'll be having to do like one Bad Batch episode, one Mando episode, per podcast. So that's gonna be a lot.
Oh boy! What if they tie together?
That'd be awesome. I would love it.
Get the clone doctors on Coruscant, and then also we got that one Kaminoan went somewhere.
By the way, yeah, let me talk about that real quick. Nice segue there, Nathan. But yeah, the clone doctor. Speaking of, as we were just talking about in our last couple minutes ago, about the clone trooper that died, could he have been a test subject from that Kaminoan from the season finale of season 1?
Oh, that's probable,
right?
Because then, didn't they even like this? Was it the start of this season? Not this season. It was the end of last season, right? We were watching the recap. Oh no, I'm sorry. My brain was like thrown off.
You're fine.
But we have, yes, they bring Kamino and Doctor to this location, which was a location that looks similar to another. I don't know if it's the same one or a different one where the Bad Batch breaks in, and it's like it's the start of the stormtroopers without them being stormtroopers yet.
Exactly. Yeah. It was.
And like so, if they want to like breed the new Imperial Army all together, there, 1-1.
I think the second half of the season is going to be about that place. Whatever they're creating there. Remember that whole group, probably commando people who were super strong, going against the Bad Batch. Like those kind of people, those experiments are going to be digging deep. And we'll get into that in this episode called Truth and Consequences, episode 8. As the Bad Batch finally get their time to shine here. They're introduced here. They're sitting around bored, which is kind of weird, right? Like our last episode, very tense, political thriller. Shit is going down for the clones. Meanwhile, the Bad Batch, clones themselves, are sitting around bored, waiting for Sid. And I think this gives us a little bit of insight to why Echo kind of departs them. We got a great scene from Omega, who is meditating after her time with Gunji. Did I say that right? Yeah, Gunji. Yeah. Which is funny because she's like, I'm not having the same impact as Gunji did. And Echo says like, well, you're not a Jedi.
Good.
Good. The Force stinks. No. But it was cool because he says he kind of let's see here. Omega's like first of all, he says, I don't like the solitude. I don't like the meditating because I don't like being alone. Right. Then Omega asks like, okay, like this is why you joined the Bad Batch. And he says, I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for them. This is where I was needed. Past tense.
Yeah. That's where I fit.
Yeah, this is where I fit, where I was needed. Past tense. And I'm like, oh, needed. Past tense. And I think
I didn't catch that in the moment.
Not at all. Of course, I'm rewatching it. I'm like, oh, okay. It's not like you watching it like, oh, he's definitely gonna leave them. I was shocked.
I'm gonna grade this episode. Underline that.
Exactly. So it's very fascinating. Rewatching it, I'm like, oh, he's definitely laying the seed. And there's another scene that I'll talk about where I'm like, oh, so they're definitely like, I should have caught that. But anyways, Rex calls them on the radio, as he always does, saying like, this is a dangerous mission. I don't want to do it. I need you guys' help. Help, please. And he says, there's a secret job on Coruscant. I need you guys' assistance. And immediately, who is hesitant to go there? Hunter. As he's always been this season. Like, let's not do the what was the premiere where they go? Sereno. Let's not do the Sereno job. Let's not do the Entombed job for Omega. Let's not do the what else did he say? I forget something else, but he's always scared to like go further. Echo's always been the one to be like, we have to move. We have to do this.
The one job this season he's been keen to do is one he was already on by the time we checked in, which is running some chicken nuggets.
Oh yeah, some yeah. What kind of nuggets are they called? Nerf nuggets, right? Nerf herders.
Nerf nuggets, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that was funny. But Echo speaks up for them basically. He says like, "We'll be there. We're going," which I really liked from Echo. Like he speaks up and says like, "This is what we're doing."
Him of all people being quite close to Rex.
And again, this isn't the first time. Echo in episode 1 or 2 says like, "We're going to Sereno, so because we need to do this stuff for our livelihood." Like Echo's the one speaking up despite the danger.
Yeah.
So Echo meets up with them on Trace and Rafa's garage. Echo wants to speak up when he meets like the dead clone body when he gets told what's going on. The whole batch does, and Echo's like, I volunteer as tribute. Basically, I want to talk about what's going on.
I'll come out and testify.
Yeah,
come up in the spot looking extra fly.
That's pretty good though. That's pretty fly. That's pretty good. You know, I was gonna be upset, but I'm like, that's a great song.
But as soon as he said that, I'm like, my man, you're wanted.
Exactly. And Hunter says, we are deserters. They're not going to trust us even if we were able to go in front of the Senate, which resorts them to the mission at hand. There's a log on Rampart's ship, the Venator, and we have to go steal it. Easier said than done.
Quicker job than I expected.
What?
Quicker job than I expected.
Very quick and really fun. We'll get into that. I really liked what they did there.
I was watching this episode and I'm like, do we have time to wrap this arc? Well, somehow we did.
Yeah, somehow we did. While they're planning this arc, while they're planning the heist, Omega goes to the Senate with Senator Chuchi. And I loved Omega's cute outfit. It was really funny. Yeah. Just strolling around the Senate building.
And then they also come face to face with Rampart, which is funny because she's like, "Oh, you seem surprised to see me." It's like, don't lay it on that thing.
Come on, exactly. Again, I'm like, God damn it.
How are you? Like, she knows she has plot armor. She knows.
Rampart walks away as he sees Senator
Masamita.
Masamita, thank you, Masamita. He's like, "Let me go talk to somebody else because you're sweating my grill here."
Also, okay, so Rampart hasn't seen Omega, huh?
I guess not. I really asked that question too. I'm like, so he doesn't know who Omega is, right? And that's true. I think throughout season 1, it's always been like from afar, basically, like
afar. Reports from
Crosshair, from other people, like, hey, the Bad Batch are bad people. They've been killed. Wait, they're alive. I haven't seen them, kind of thing. So yeah, makes sense here. But then I love seeing Omega. Again, Omega is a great tool because she's new to the world at large. Yeah. Oh, by the way, this was her first time on Coruscant. Right. So when they came in the beginning of the episode, I really liked how she was like, no words, but just like audibly like a gasp.
Oh, she's looking around all the time.
I can't imagine going to Coruscant for the first time ever. And like, there's tons of cities, under levels, like it's crazy.
And we're in a good place, the top side.
Yeah, top side. Then she goes to the downside. Like she gets a lot. She sees a lot here.
She gets the Senate chambers all empty. And with how much political intrigue we've experienced in this room at this point, it's so goddamn hilarious to think about the Emperor and Yoda lightsaber battle in there. It
really is, because they look down. I'm like, that's where Yoda and Palpatine were going on.
Fucking throwing shit. Like, they had to rebuild all that.
Yeah, I wonder what happened here. Palpatine's like, the Jedi betrayed me. Like, no, you were flinging shit. We saw the
God in the fold.
God in the bomb. Great stuff.
Which is funny. And this was a big thing. It's like, because remember, we had the shot of Palpatine in the trailer for this season. And it was kind of cut in like he was looking at the batch. I was like, oh, they're fried.
They're dead.
And also, I thought the Senate chamber was empty in the shot.
Me too.
Because I was always under the impression that, and I know like Palpatine had he looked all messed up in Revenge of the Sith in front of everything to drive home his point, like the Jedi are dangerous. But whenever we had that toward the finale of Rebels, and Palpatine had that like very nice healed projection.
That was awesome.
I thought that was like a public image he projected into the Senate and used that. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not scared. No. I'm your loyal emperor. But not at all. He came right out. It's like, oh god.
I always figured like that was a thing for Azure to be like more comfortable around Palpatine,
which makes way more sense because
who he'd never seen before.
This whole episode, this whole finale, like his whole voice is just like, is this our king?
Yeah, for them it is. A lot of people it is. They love
for these a-holes who back him.
Yeah, Nazis. What? Last of Us? They're Nazis. Like,
he don't love you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Omega asked some great questions when they're here. She says or Chuchi says I'm a senator. I'm the voice for the people. And Omega says what does it mean to be the voice of the people? I'm like, oh shit! Like this show is getting deep. Like, yeah, what does it mean? Like,
it's such a simple, innocent question from a child, but it carries a lot of weight.
It does. It carries a lot of weight. It's very complex. It's more complex than it seems. Like people hire these senators to speak for them. They have a responsibility, and if they don't do that, then they're failing the republic. They're failing themselves, or at least they should be. But then other people don't feel like they're failing themselves. Blah blah blah. But it was very interesting. And then she's awed by the Senate space, and she's shocked. She's looking around. There's no pod for the clones. What's happening here? And Chuchi's like, exactly. That's why we're here. They're like, I need to be the voice for the clones because nobody else will speak for them. And Omega's really distraught by this. Wow, I'm a clone myself. And she just said the voice of the people speaks for the people, and her people don't have a voice, which is so sad. But then they meet Bale, and Bale says we should speak to Kaminoan senator. She might help our ordeal in the following day when we have to go back to the Senate court. To the Senate court, and he mentioned a friend, and we all thought oh, Mon Mothma or something. No, it's just a Kaminoan senator named Bertoni, who we've seen before. Kaminoan senator is reluctant to help. Basically, she's kind of it's useless. The Empire is growing. They're too powerful.
My people are gone.
Yeah, my people are all gone.
Rubs Omega the wrong way for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Because she's basically saying how my people are all gone. The clones are just military assets, and there's no need to help them. There's no use in helping them. My voice isn't going to matter. She's basically giving up. And Omega basically says, well, reveal here, I am a clone.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, you just said that?
Yeah, I know. I was like, and even she's like, oh, whoops, I might have spoken too soon. And then,
she's going in with the heat. She ain't letting up.
No, I mean the senator. The senator's like, oh, I've been mistaken here because the senator wasn't expecting for Omega to be a clone here. But Omega's plight here was I am a clone. My people are dying. They need help, and this is your job to help them. And I think this really spoke to her, the senator here.
I think it's effectively a theme of your people are gone. Mine aren't gone just yet. We're all children of Kamino. This is your chance to help.
Great point. Exactly. We're all here from Kamino. Just because a lot of people have died doesn't mean we still can give up. There's still something that we can do about it. And Bertoni says, okay, you know what? Yes. Her mind changes. She said Rampart did divert the funds prior to the Kaminoan incident, the cataclysm, basically. So she confirms that Rampart diverted the funds being the money that was used to support the defense bill, the money that's being used to support himself was diverted away from Kamino, which is whoa, why are they sending money away from Kamino prior to the incident? It's very sus. And yes, he was involved. But then she also says Rampart is a cog in the machine. They're going to need proof. My voice isn't going to matter. And that cuts to the highest at hand. And they need proof, and the Bad Batch are going out there to get that proof. And we cut to a great sequence here. Great shot, by the way. There's a shot of the Venator Rampart ship, and it pans down or tilts down. Yeah. Sorry, Carson. Tilts down or whatever.
Split down
shot. And we, as they're underneath what do we call it? Infrastructure area of the junkyard area. Shipyard. There we go. They're underneath, trying to get through here. And Rex and Echo have a moment. And this was what I was talking about earlier in terms of seeds for the finale or for the ending scene. Rex explained to Echo how Rex wishes he had more help with the inhibitor chips. He says right now they're spread thin, help's hard to come by these days. And Echo like audibly like he didn't say anything, but he just looks down. He's like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Oh, this is when he kind of starts to change his mind about what he needs to do."
It's me, I'm bitches.
It's my fault. And yeah, I think a lot of it is you joke, but yeah, Echo's taking responsibility here for like his inactivity. Like, I'll mention it all later. But yeah, so right now I just have the word action sequence because not much to say, but it's really cool how they get above the into the junkyard. In order to get through the ship, they have to hijack like these moving repulsor lifts basically that are floating around the junkyard. They drop on top of the Venator. Kind of reminded me of Tross, like with what's it called? Finn on top of like the Star Destroyer, that kind of sequence there. Yeah. They go into the ship. They find the audio log, but as soon as they do, of course, they say there's going to be an alarm. People are going to come for us, and they do. Lots of people start coming in right away. And to escape, they have to like fire the ship. It kind of reminded me of the mid-season finale last season, where they like fired the engine in order to like burn Crosshair and escape that way.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
I wasn't expecting them to go like that intense of a job.
Me neither.
I was thinking like I'll shoot the window, get out. We're in the atmosphere.
It was very funny. It's like, oh shit, we just need to move the entire ship. I thought it was gonna fly off, but it kind of moves like 50 meters. It doesn't go very far.
Don't they pop out of an escape pod?
Yes, yeah. They into an escape pod too, and just I figure like, aren't they gonna see the escape pods? But I guess the bigger issue is like there's this huge ship that just like moving, so they're not gonna see a couple of random escape pods. Yeah. Especially if nobody's tracking it. But yeah, they escape with the audio log or the video log.
Yeah, and I was fully expecting Rampart to have some sort of knowledge about this, but I guess he has no knowledge of this stack because at the same time the Senate meeting is happening. And they're Russian.
It was funny because I thought this was happening like midnight, but no, this is like in the morning. I assume like around 5 a.m. 4 a.m. So they drive.
What time is the Senate meeting? Fuck.
It must have been early. Which might have been a play by Rampart. Like if it's early, maybe people won't come.
less opposition.
Exactly. Which again, very meta because Senate meetings, Congress meetings these days happen at certain times that are inconvenient for other people. Like it happens sometimes. So Chuchi is stalling. Basically, she brings out Bertoni, the Kaminoan senator. They're saying like, "Hey, she has things to say." Rampart's like, "We can't believe her lies. What else do you have?"
Yeah, she didn't even get the chance to speak, did she?
Not really. Rampart's like, "Oh, this girl's lying. This senator's lying. Why else would she be saying this? Whatever."
Baseless accusations.
Yeah, baseless. Like, and then she's like, "We need some proof." And she's like, "I'm waiting." And basically, the Bad Batch like arrived, like, "Take it, go."
My brain's so petty. I'm just, oh my god, this is like, oh, I'm baseless. You're bitchless. Like, soon to be, but
you would not be a great senator, Nathan.
No, not at all. I'm too scared.
But yeah, so at the right moment, Senator comes in. Omega grabs the video file, runs to the Senate chamber, gets in there. I like how she leans back. She leans back in that little cubicle that she's in, and she's all tired and exhausted as she looks on to like what's going on. And Chuchi says like, "I had the video log," and I was like losing my mind because I'm like, I'm expecting something to happen, but it doesn't happen.
Is someone gonna shoot it?
And no, like we actually see the video log. I'm like, oh, it's happening. Oh shit! And
I was worried something happened. I was worried someone would like knock it away. And
same.
But if I was in that situation, I would just make the argument: don't you find it suspicious that someone here was trying to hide? Exactly. But luckily, it actually displayed, and I was like, "Oh, that's damning!" Like, how do you move forward?
I was shocked, and Rampart's like, I can't explain, and it was bad. It was just, it was over.
It was quite bad, but fuck,
bad. And it was funny because the people that we called like bitches, the banking clan people, the whatever the other guy was, they were like silent. They were like, you can see they were like, bro, we can't help you now with this. We can't help you with this one. This is pretty bad.
I can't really speak. We're not really a fake news galaxy.
Yeah, we can't really. There's right in front of us, blatant evidence. So Rampart's screwed, and victory lasts a millisecond because Omega's like, where's that choir coming from?
It's mandatory. It plays.
It is, yeah. Like, oh fuck. Sidious appears, and he has his true like, and in the episode where Omega's asking, "Who is the voice of the people?" This is what the Senate does. Episode 4, we know the Senate is gone, and in Andor, we know the Senate is like ineffective.
Yeah.
And in Bad Batch, we figure out, as we figured out in episode 3, Sidious is the Senate, basically. Like, if he wants things
to have,
dissolved
by A New Hope.
Exactly, right? It's all dissolved by A New Hope. He's the Senate. It wasn't really. It doesn't matter what goes on in this place. It's just for it's like pleasantries, basically. It's like this is what.
It's a front, really.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's a front. If it goes his way, great. If it doesn't go his way, whatever. But this one, he needs to go his way, so he's going to get involved. And he immediately sinks Rampart. Jalen and I were losing it. I'm like, oh, he got sunk. Like, he basically just says, like, oh, Rampart, how dare you, bro? Like, oh my gosh. Like,
which is funny because when he's getting pinned down and arrested, he's like, I was just following orders. It's like, oh, the irony, sir.
Yeah, exactly, right? Good soldiers follow orders, asshole. See, I was just following orders. And if I'm Chuchi, I'm like, wait, pause. Like, what orders? Who orders are you following?
Yeah.
Speak up, please.
Governor Tarkin?
Yeah.
We don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know.
Does he know? Palpatine knows.
Palpatine knows everything.
Which is funny because, like, the whole time, it's getting pumped up by Mas Amedda, just like, Tarkin said you could handle this. Did Tarkin know? Did Tarkin know this was the end game?
Not at all, boy.
Maybe this wasn't the end game, but it was.
Tarkin.
Maybe this wasn't like the surefire end game, but it was a contingency that Palpatine was ready for.
Yeah, Tarkin probably was fine with it. He's like, F Rampart. Like, Tarkin is very much, if you're ineffective to my goals, you can go. That happened in season 1 of Rebels. Like, the 2 people in charge of Lothal, they were like, Tarkin is like, yeah, you guys can go. Bye.
Evan, I just had a thought, and I would be elated if this happens. Rampart's gone.
Yes.
We need a new person in play.
We do.
Krennic.
Yes!
Krennic.
We have the assets. We have the technology.
We have the animation.
We have the animation. We can rebuild him. For people confused, he was in the season 7 of the Clone Wars during this one hologram scene. Like, we see Krennic. Oh, no, you're right. We don't.
That was Underworld, people.
That was Underworld.
We saw Paul Dano's character.
Dryden. I'm getting confused. Sorry, but anyways,
I mean that too.
Krennic is easily able to come into the show. Like, he is a person who was alive during this time, who is very driven.
I mean, at the same time, I want Krennic for Andor.
I want Krennic for Andor too.
That's a bit later.
He'd make a bit more sense for Andor, given like Krennic's whole thing is the Death Star setup. Yeah. But I think it wouldn't not make sense for him to be in here for the Bad Batch. Trying to think who else we could see, but I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, Sidious basically sinks Rampart, but also sinks the clones. And this was very depressing and can't really find fault. You can't find fault in it because it's what he did. But he's basically saying the clones were so willing to follow these vile orders against their own people that if they're willing to do this, we can't trust them. We must have an army of our own who we can trust. Hence, the defense recruitment bill needs to pass.
Evan, my jaw dropped.
I was like,
my jaw was on the floor because I was like, we're fucked. We have no way out of this.
There's no way. It's 0% chance of winning now. It was over before it began.
And as soon as he name dropped straight up the stormtroopers, I was like, well, this is signed and sealed. This is done.
This is history in the making, right, dude? Like, it felt like, this whole show has been about like the falling of the clones and the rise of the stormtroopers, and we've seen a little bit in terms of like modeling, costuming, but he actually blatantly says Imperial Stormtrooper, and it makes it sound so menacing. I mean, the stormtroopers are looked at by now like, oh, they're laughing stock, they miss all the time, but like in this context, like it was so menacing and dark and ominous. I'm just like,
yeah, damn.
And again, like you said at the beginning of the episode here, Nathan, we know what's coming. We know there's just stormtroopers by the time of Andor, by the time of the Imperial era.
Yeah, and it's like we know that. I feel like even though clones, in the sense at the start of this, were like pseudo evil, it's like a lesser evil because when you're just like go into the recruitment method with like probably plenty of diehard people who are actually here for the cause, and are very like biased. And we see like in different points, like I know like in the main like saga, they're like they miss a lot, especially in the OT, because we're on a fantastical journey, right? We're just trying to like do the hero's journey, and you can't get shot. But in different situations, whether it's stuff in like Solo or like they're ripping people apart at borders and stuff, and stuff in Andor, it just like lock people up for like
exactly.
I don't know, they were running on the beach, like throwing their lives away. Like, oh my god, it's so dark. The Empire is so dark, especially knowing especially after Andor, frankly.
Yeah, we know where they end up. Like this is we see like the intricate implications of a fascist regime here, right? Like these are people who are supported by like as Senate starts cheering for Sidious here. Like, yeah, you're right, and like you said in Andor, like these people who Sidious says we need people that we can trust. These people that come in, stormtroopers, are people who once again follow orders and who once again do a lot of these corrupt actions that we're trying to go away from years prior in the Clone Wars and beforehand. But Sidious is just as corrupt and dark as they come, and there's no stopping him until Return of the Jedi. It's crazy. This is such a tragic, depressing era, full of hope though. I mean, yeah, we just got to figure out like our only light in this situation is we got to save as many clones as we can now. From episode 8 to 16 now, hopefully the season goes into the avenue of like we got to save as many clones as we can. We can't keep doing these odd jobs. It's time to move forward, have a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Sidious stuff. At the end of the episode, though, they depart, and it's crazy. They say like we tried our best, but Sidious, this was his plan from the beginning. If Rampart was going to fail, he was going to fail spectacularly, and the bill was going to get passed either way. And as they're leaving, though, Echo says goodbye. This was shocking. This was shocking and emotional as hell.
How dare they give me the ET goodbye? How dare they?
Oh, not the ET goodbye.
I didn't sign up for this.
No, we did not.
What are you doing to me? Only gonna pay for my therapy? I didn't think so.
He says this is where he's needed most with Rex.
It's all family, isn't it?
It's all family, yeah. And again, as I mentioned earlier, like Echo feels like this is where he's needed now. He used the past tense because what he did in season 1 and season 2, helping Omega, helping the clones, whatever. It was all good, but now they're kind of twiddling their thumbs a little bit, and this sequence of events really got him to believe like there needs to be more to be done. Rex is spread thin. I can be a big factor in helping out Rex here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this is goodbye for now. As he says goodbye to Omega, which is so sad. But the Bad Batch understand. They're like, we understand where you need to be, what you need to do, what needs to be done. Mm-hmm. So they part amicably, and I think we'll see him again. Like this is kind of like what happened with Sabine in season 3. You're like, oh, I gotta go with my family. And then we see her like 4 episodes later.
Yeah.
So Echo will be back. Echo will return. But oh my gosh, it was just a crazy episode of events where they lost, but the battle's not over yet. I think Rex is pretty much here to say like the clones still need our help. There are people that still need our help. Cody's out there. He's not saying that, but we know. Yeah. Cody's out there, and Crosshair is still out there.
What's he doing?
Crosshair needs your help, guys. And this one I want to talk about with you, Nathan. Like, as you saw in episode 3, Crosshair's gone, or Crosshair's still like
he's there, but he's callousing.
Exactly. But he kept reporting to Rampart. With Rampart gone, who's he going to report to now? Is this new person gonna?
Oh yeah.
How is this new person, whoever our new antagonist is, unless it's just they used maybe the show just says like Crosshair is our new antagonist and we got to save Crosshair.
It's Vader.
I don't know.
It's Vader.
It's just Vader. That'd be crazy.
Oh man, the 501st once and for all.
Man, you know,
sure.
But so yeah, it was I'm very curious to see where Crosshair goes from here, because I think this is going to affect the clones, of course, because Rampart was already on their ass. Mm-hmm. But who's also going to be like tracking them down now, and who's also going to be in charge of Crosshair now? So this can be affecting both parties now.
What are the odds of it just Tarkin's back, just in the meantime?
I would love it. would make sense. Now, those are the assets that are available for the show.
Yes, the premiere of episode 1 of season 1.
Yep.
Had him.
That's pretty much it, though. Hour and 15 minutes we spent on Bad Batch.
Visions?
Great stuff. Yeah. Visions. You know what? I was going to talk about it, but let me just pull up the Visions season 2, StarWars.com, and I'll just share it on my screen.
Cool.
Because this was interesting. As we know, Visions was revealed to be a show coming out this spring, and they're really going to do the last couple of weeks of spring by doing it May 4th, my birthday, which is great. Here we go. So Star Wars Visions, is it working? Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Great. Star Wars Visions Volume 2 release date is May 4th, 2023. As revealed was today, there's a new High Republic show coming out May 4th, 2023 as well. We'll get to that later a little bit. But yeah, Volume 2, building off the Emmy Award-winning Visions of 2021. It's crazy how it's been it's been a year already. It's been really quick. Unfortunately, no returning studios. I don't think so, right? All brand new?
No. All new? 88 wasn't? No.
Okay. What's the one Japanese studio that's here? Do we know?
Oh, you don't know?
I don't. We'll go through it. But yeah, so here we have Cartoon Saloon, Punk Robot, Studio Mir, which I immediately was like, yo, Avatar, The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, Studio Mir?
Yeah. What if it's in the art style?
I mean, they usually have a very similar art style across all their different projects. There have been some Studio Mir projects that I haven't watched, like on Netflix, just like that Dragon Age, the Dragon Age show on Netflix that I haven't watched yet, but very similar animation to Korra. So Studio Mir, always very consistent artistically and narratively. Aardman, isn't Aardman the one from Wallace and Gromit?
Oh, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking of here.
Are we gonna get a stop motion?
Triggerfish, Dart Shot Taggio, Studio La Cachette, 88, and El Guieri Studio. I butchered that. So we have Spain with El Guieri, Ireland, Cartoon Saloon, Punk Robot with Chile, United Kingdom with Aardman, Studio Mir, South Korea, love them, France, Studio La Cachette, 88 Pictures, India, Japan is the one that has Dart Jataggio, and Triggerfish, South Africa. Of course, Japan Studio, Dart is the one doing having a collaboration with Lucasfilm.
Oh.
Seems to be the only one that says here was created in collaboration with Lucasfilm. Nice. And then being the only anime one for this season, that makes me very excited. Of course, they have, we're so happy to spread our, work with new creators, best creators working today. With Volume 2, we expanded our canvas to take audiences on global tour of some of the most talented creators around the world. Very exciting. Hopefully, this isn't the end of Visions. Hopefully, there's Volume 3, 4, 5, and New Horizons.
Everybody's streaming.
Exactly.
Oh, we got the titles.
We got titles here. So, title Sith. So, let's see what this studio has worked on. Let's see here. Well, we get from the director. So, Blas has joined Blue Sky Studios, of course, notably from Ice Age. He transitioned to Pixar Animation Studios. He worked on projects such as Nemo, Finding Nemo, Incredible, Ratatouille, The Freaking Rat, and WALL-E. And of course, the Oscar-nominated short film La Luna. Love that one.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, he also partnered with Guillermo del Toro for the animated winning show Troll Hunters, which I heard was really good. Just never got around to watch it. Nice. So he created the studio in 2021 with his partner Cecile Hoeks. So this is a recent studio, but from a writer-director standpoint, he's did a lot of great work in the past. So that's exciting. His episode is called Sith. I wonder what the main characters are in that one. The Jedi.
It could be.
Cartoon Saloon. This is the Ireland studio. And you think of Ireland, you think of animation, you're going to get some of the most well-known works recently. My Father's Dragon, which was not nominated this year, but it was a nominee, or a potential nominee. Wolfwalkers, though, Song of the Sea, Breadwinner, these are things that are just very well-known. They're on Apple TV if you don't watch these. Secret of Kells as well. Like a lot of these features are available on Apple TV and are highly regarded. So Cartoon Saloon has a lot of like quality work to it. Episode called Screecher's Reach. In the Stars. Studio Punk Robot. Not familiar with this one at all, but writer-director is Gabriel Osorio. Worked on such things as Flippios, Muellen y Perlita, Soccer Girls. So interesting. Some little Latin American projects. His project again is called In the Stars. I Am Your Mother from Aardman. And while I read this, I'm gonna look up Aardman again. I believe this is the one like Wallace and Gromit Studio Aardman.
It says here. Right here they worked on Wallace and Gromit.
Does it say that there?
In the paragraph, yeah. Second line.
You're right. Wow. Wallace and Gromit, yeah. Wallace and Gromit, the Great Sofa Caper, and Share the Orange. So yeah, so that's very exciting. What is that going to look like in Star Wars?
Is it? Are they going to do that? Are they going to do the stop motion claymation?
Oh, I assume so.
I would love to see it.
Director specifically Magdalena Osinka has directed stop motion, CGI, 2D, and live action commercials. So
nice.
Those are 4 options.
I want it to be the claymation.
I want it to be the stop motion. I want it to be the claymation as well. Yeah,
because it's so, and it's not just like, when they pose it, it's like imperfections on the clay. Like it's perfectly like shaped every shot. Like they've nailed it and mastered it.
Exactly. So I would love to see some stop motion / some claymation material in Star Wars Visions. Like I'm all for anime, of course. Last season was great, but if we get some more distinct arc styles like this, like come on, like I would love that. But okay, this one I was looking for, Journey to the Dark Head, by my studio, Studio Mir. Director Hyung Jeong Park, butchered that probably, entered Korean animation in 2017. So Studio Mir, as a studio, as I said, worked on Legend of Korra, but this director specifically is more recent, and that's what it's called, Dota Dragonblood. So I said Dragon Age earlier. I meant Dota Dragon's Blood. That's the one that's on Netflix. Came out as recently as last year.
Book 3.
I believe. Okay, I thought there was. So maybe there's 2 things. Maybe there's a Dota Dragon's Blood and there's a Dragon Age show on Netflix. Whatever. I think both are Studio Mir then. Because I saw both of them. I'm like, hey, this looks Studio Mir-ish. But anyways, Journey to the Dark Head is the first title that he has executive produced from start to finish. He also directed some animation for dozens of cinematic game trailers, which is fun.
Ooh.
But anyways, yeah, Studio Mir is my most anticipated because it seems super exciting. And South Korean animation, super fun. Spy Dancer. This is a French studio on Studio Lacache. Not familiar with this stuff, but writer-director Julian Chong served as animation executive producer on Tarkovsky's Primal, which is very well known, of course. He was a producer and then a director, but still very interesting. Yeah. This one's called The Spy Dancer again, so probably not going to see much Jedi or Sith in this one, but still sounds fun either way. We'll see. Yeah. Bandits of Golak, 88 Pictures. This is the Singapore studio. Not familiar with them, but looks interesting. And again, these are some recent stuff. Again, 2016, just within the last decade. This director had some good work here. He did commercials, video series, music videos. Interesting stuff here. The Pit. When you say The Pit, I always get flashbacks to Ben Solo and Rise of Skywalker. But hopefully that's not it. The Pit, this is the Japanese studio one. So,
what if I told you The Pit was about Ben escaping
I would love it. Blue butterflies, baby.
In Japanese style.
That would be incredible. So what we see here, producers Leone Tomas, directors Justin Ridge. Let's see here. Thomas is part of a franchise studio team at Lucasfilm where he worked on for more than 11 years, being credited on titles such as Light and Magic, Mando, Kenobi, Tales of the Jedi, and many more. So he has, from a producer standpoint, he has some history with Lucasfilm. Director Justin Ridge produced Resistance, love that. Rebels, he was included on Storks, Cleveland Show, Clone Wars, and the best show of all time, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Best show of all time, the Cleveland Show, baby.
Cleveland Show, woo! No idea what that is.
You know?
No, what is the Cleveland Show?
It's a spinoff from Family Guy.
Oh, a show that I never watched.
Really?
Couldn't get into it.
Interesting.
I mean, growing up, I saw clips and stuff. I never watched, the show.
Sure.
I never turned on. Hey, I want to watch Family Guy. Not for me. Title Owls song. How would you say that? Owls song. Owls. Yeah. Triggerfish. What country is this from? Let me see. South Africa. Worked on some high-profile stuff as recently as 2015, by the looks of it. Stickman, Revolting Rhymes, Highway Rat. That's about it. But yeah, our song, Triggerfish, brand new studio. Excited to see what they do. So yeah, again, I'm most looking forward to The Pit, Journey to the Dark Edge, Studio Mirror, Our Band, I Am Your Mother. But I can't wait for the trailer. I forget when we got the Vision season 2 or season 1 trailer, but with May 4th being the release date, I expect a trailer around April. So we shall see. But this is exciting. Very exciting. What else do we have to talk about? I guess I can stop sharing now. Moving on to other TV show news. In regards to Mando, coming out within the month, Ludwig, composer. He composed Mando season 1. He composed Mando season 2.
Tenet.
And he composed Tenet, the best movie of all time.
Saved movie theaters, baby.
It sure did. Top Gun who? He's not returning for Mando season 3, which is pretty big. However, the composer for the Book of Boba Fett is composing Mando season 3. That composer is, I cannot tell you. Let me look up the Book of Boba Fett composer so I remember who it is. Joseph Shirley.
My favorite.
He collaborated, of course, with Ludwig, but he will be composing Mando season 3 now.
Wasn't he recently working on something that he was like? Who am I thinking of that recently replaced a big composer because they've been working under him? Was somebody who was working under Giacchino?
Oh, damn it! I know exactly who you're talking about, but I don't remember the name.
No, for Avatar, replacing.
Yeah. You replaced Howard, right?
James Howard.
Right.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
I forget his name, but yeah. People get replaced, but
Howard or
Horner. I knew it was
James
the
Horner.
age. Yeah.
James Newton Howard.
James Newton Howard. Holy shit. But Avatar and Avatar 2 are good examples because those scores sound pretty similar, and I think we're gonna get some stuff here where if you didn't know, if you were listening to this podcast, like and subscribe, then you're probably not gonna tell the difference. Joseph Shirley, like the Book of Boba Fett, the Boba Fett theme was composed by Ludwig, and then it was used in Book of Boba Fett on top of Shirley's other themes.
There was some good music in Book of Boba Fett, especially with the
I agree.
With the guys that I forget what they're called, but the cyborgs.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, they have some good stuff. So I think Shirley's gonna be like all on the same page as Ludwig.
Oh yeah.
It's not like we're not gonna hear the iconic
There was already Mando episodes in that show, so
exactly right. So
we're good.
There's some kind of symbiosis going on. It won't be too much of a difference. Lastly, let's see here. It's been a couple weeks, but we would be remiss to tell you that Jedi Survivor is now coming out April 28th. This has been delayed from the March release date. It hasn't gone gold yet, but it takes more time for it to cook. Did you see the recent gameplay for Jedi Survivor as recently as yesterday?
I didn't, because I'm not going to have a console to play it on.
Oh.
So I'm tampering my desires.
I don't feel like sharing it, but if you want to go on IGN on YouTube, there's like 9 minutes of gameplay from Cal Kestis as he goes on to a rampage against some wildlife on this random planet. It's very funny.
Evan.
What?
Had a bright idea. Please don't reject it on air.
No, Nathan, whatever you're going to say, no. You want me to stream this game?
What if you streamed Fallen Order? You have a PS5.
Oh, you mean Survivor?
Yes.
I would love to. Yeah.
You have a PS5, and I think our method of streaming Alien is working.
I would love to do that, as long as you're available and not tired.
Oh yeah, I'll sit down. I don't know if you can share play that, but if you can, hell yeah.
I can definitely share play it. You think I won't be able to share play it because it's PS5?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can share it. I just won't play it.
Yeah, of course. When we say share play, guys, viewers, there's an ability to share play where Nathan can play on my console, or we can just share the screen. I think what we're going to be doing is share the screen. But
disclaimer: I have not even played the Alien while you played it. So
yeah, off air, Nathan and I've been playing Alien Isolation. We haven't in the past 2 weeks, but we've been playing Alien Isolation. It's been very fun. Just co-opting that experience.
At this point, we're so far in. I don't want to play.
It's scary as hell. It's one of the best horror thrillers I've ever played. It's really well done.
You're so deep into needing these specific tactics, and I have no muscle memory of the console, and there may be some lag delay. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. But going back to the Survivor, I would love to stream this game live. It's very fun. I had a blast playing Fallen Order. Based off of the gameplay that was released yesterday, it looks very fun. It looks thrilling. It's more of the same, but also the combat is definitely improved. The pairing is improved. The map design looks already easily better. Confirmed there's going to be fast travel. What else is confirmed? Yeah, fast travel, more expansive settings, because the PS5 gives a lot of developers a lot more room to create better, expansive, more expansive level designs, of course, with the bigger, data, for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
So worlds are going to be bigger. Level design is going to be bigger. Fast travel, combat's going to be improved. More skills for Cal to use. Even though, because people have the question of Cal, I maxed out Cal's skill tree at the end of Fallen Order. Is he going to go back to 0 in this one? Fair question, but no. I think they said there's a clever way that Cal is going to be developing in this game.
Clow?
There's a clever way that they're going to tone us back and have us level up again, just how any other game in society works. It's kind of like in Spider-Man 2, is Peter Parker going to be weaker than he was at the end of Spider-Man 1? No. But it's there's going to be new abilities, whatever. It's a video game, guys. Come on. So, yeah, True. We'll see how it works out. Same for Miles Morales in Spider-Man 2 later this year as well. New skill trees, new games, new stuff. But in general, that's pretty much it. Fallen Order on April 28th. A week later is Vision Season 2. After that, today was revealed May 4th as well. High Republic Youngling show. Set in the era of Light and Life, the High Republic. This Youngling show is about these couple of Jedi being trained by Master Yoda, releasing on May 4th for Disney Juniors and on Disney Plus. It's aimed at kids, 1 to 6, basically. But for all ages as well. I'll be watching it because I'm a High Republic stan. Before we close out, I want to mention, speaking of High Republic issue number 3 came out, or number 5 came out yesterday. 5 out of 10. And I loved it. This was a great issue, and it's going into the Battle of Jeddah. The Battle of Jeddah, which occurred in Phase 2 of the High Republic, taking place 150 years before Phase 1 of the High Republic. And it goes into, you see that fallen Jedi statue in Rogue One?
Yeah.
Well, this issue and the Battle of Jeddah explains why it fell, who tore it down, and everything that happened. Battle of Jeddah was a gnarly battle. There were no winners, especially for the Jedi and Force users. And the group known as the Path of the Open Hand, which is responsible for some Jedi death in the High Republic, are also getting there. People, the Jedi are now finally starting to look at the Path of the Open Hand that eventually grows into the Nile, which are the main antagonists of Phase 1. So the second wave of the High Republic, which starts in April, is going to go into what happens to the Path, how they turn into the Nile, and how this is going to affect Marchion Ro in the present of the High Republic. So Phase 2 has been so much fun so far, even though it's like the prequels. They go back in time to explain what's happening in the present time. I've been really enjoying it. So again, always highlighting the High Republic any way I can. That's about it, though. I had fun. This was great. Bad Batch is on fire. Vision's coming up. I can't wait. And March is going to kill us all with so much TV. It's insane. I was talking to my mom about it yesterday. But so on Wednesdays, guys, I'm going to be watching in March. Wednesdays is going to have Survivor. Season 44 is going to start at 8 o'clock. Big Brother Canada comes on at 9 o'clock. Also on Wednesdays, The Bad Batch and The Mandalorian. 4 shows, not including the live feeds. There's going to be daily starting March 8th. And then Top Chef starts on Thursdays in March. I'm trying to think what else is coming out in March. Yellow Jackets is coming back. Yellow Jackets on Showtime. Love that show.
Will Abbott still be airing?
Abbott will still be airing every Tuesday, which I watch it on Wednesday, the day after on Hulu.
Did Abbott just come back from a break?
Came back yesterday. I'm watching it tonight. Yep.
I think it was like last week. I went to go check Hulu, and I was like, where is it?
Where is it? Yeah, they came back for a break. They'll be on until, I think, till May. I think 8 or so episodes left. What was I going to say? And then, of course, Last of Us is still going to be airing in March as well. So a lot of stuff going on. Succession coming back in March, too. Oh, boy. March is going to be a lot. And I'm excited. Anyways, this was a fun one. Ugh.
Oh, look at that shirt.
Eternals.
Oh, hell yeah.
Go catch our Eternals of You on Micah Batee from 2021.
I forget. Do you like Eternals? Did I convince you?
We liked it. We talked about it.
We were on the plus side.
We were on the plus side.
The beauty of humanity reflect the Avengers inspiring them.
It was great. I mean, you're the one who came with that take about the Avengers inspiring. Yeah, it was just really good. I like that take.
God forbid I make a video essay.
Did we do Eternals review in 2021, dude?
I was in Jersey, so yeah, it's November.
Oh my god, what happened in 2022? Jeez.
It's pre No Way Home.
Pre No Way Home, pre Doctor Strange, pre other 2022 movies. Black Panther.
Pre Miss Marvel.
But speaking of Marvel, yeah, catch us next week for Ant-Man.
Phase 5.
Beginning of Phase 5, our Ant-Man review will be probably that weekend. Yeah, this week we didn't do a review of The Last of Us. But the second episode's already coming out tomorrow because of Super Bowl. So we'll be doing some Last of Us reviews this weekend as well.
Right. Yeah, we haven't tackled 4 yet. Oh boy.
So we'll talk about 4 and 5, which makes sense. 4 and 5 go back to back. They're kind of part 1, part 2.
Hand in hand for sure.
Hand in hand. So we'll be going over that this weekend, and I'm hyped for tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait.
Did you already say where they could find you?
No, I didn't. Find me on Twitter, HarrisEV9. Tweeting about anime. I just tweeted about God of War yesterday. I finished that game. Loved it so much. Here's hoping I can finish God of War and finish the new Horizon Forbidden West before Jedi Survivor comes out in April. Hopefully I can do it.
Follow me at _TimeBlazer for all things Time Blazer related. Big old next big series, bigger than Avatar, baby.
Yes.
That's not true. I can't.
James Cameron, who?
I had some themes from Cameron, but yeah, no, it's exciting. Me and Evan recently did a stream. If you're like, what the hell's Time Blazer? Basically, a whole stream encompassing what's coming and what's it about with some new reveals available on the channel very recently, because I still don't have the episode up, let alone a trailer. But it's in the works. I really need to send some people some scripts that I promised. I was like, hey, it's coming, and then I fucking left for a couple weeks. Oh, it's bad, Bob. I'm sorry, but we're gonna get it rolling. A lot of big ideas. Evan, the creative consultant of that show as well now. Even though the man doesn't want to know what happens at certain points in this show.
I do and I don't. I'm ready. If you want to tell me, I'll gladly help you.
I would. I feel like I should prepare you. But yeah, well, that being said, if you guys enjoyed the podcast, make sure you like, button, subscribe, and already ring the bell so you not miss more future Hyperspace Hype episodes. That being said, hope you have a great day. May the force be with you always.
Bye-bye.